So in our area, that southeast mid-Atlantic area, there's just probably close to 24 ants that are really common. The most common ants you're gonna find are gonna be your odorous house ants, your pavement ants, your acrobat ants. Those are probably your 3 most common ants you're gonna run across. Odorous house ants those are our biggest problem here in the southeast. They're just a very strong ant species down here. Pavement ants will go underneath sidewalks, underneath driveways, and that makes it dangerous because they make things collapse. But that's something else we have to be aware of where they're at. Acrobat ants, they'll come over on like trees, live inside gutters that notoriously are in high areas. Fire ants you have to be careful with because they'll live inside like electrical boxes. Some other ants will too, and they can short things out. Carpenter ants will sometimes be inside of bait stations for termites or something else. So they all live in different areas and do different things. And what they do from their biology and their habits allows us to help narrow things down as well. Each office has microscopes so they can look at everything, but we also have samples at every office for them to be able to reference. But there's different characteristics for each ant that allow us to say, okay, this is this ant versus another. The easiest one is that odorous house ant. I squish it, and it has a very distinct smell. If I find a bunch of black ants that are typically black, that are bigger, but I see some that are various sizes, and I hear they're always out at midnight, I automatically think carpenter ant. If I see them walking around with their butts in the air, it looks like a little heart shape, acrobat ant. If I look under a hand lens or on a zoom in my camera, I see like these little grooves along the back of the head and the thorax, that's pavement ant. So each ant has got some very simple characteristics and some are much more complex, but we can narrow down what specific ant it is by looking at their physical characteristics. A lot of nuisance. In some situations, they can cause food contamination. There's a number of people that just get really, really bothered by having ants in their house. If you're having a birthday party or something, no one wants to have ants in their house. There's some other damage that can happen. They can excavate different areas, particularly if you've got foam insulation, they'll live inside of that. So it can cause other damages as well. But really, you're looking at it, you have some medically important ants. You've got some ants that cause structural damage, and you have some that are just nuisance ants. People misidentify termites and ants all the time, particularly when they swarm. They look very, very similar. Big swarm of thousands of ants versus big swarm of thousands of termites look very similar. So if you ever do find a bunch of flying insects inside your house or right outside, get a sample, throw them in a little baggie, give us a call. We can come take a look at it and go, yep, that's what this is. It's either termites or ants. That's probably the most misidentified section from a homeowner aspect because they look so similar. Ants are very, very finicky when it comes to what they're attracted to. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Is it too wet? Is it too dry? Do they need food? Do they need a new place to live? There's no one thing that drives how ants come into a structure or want to invade. It just kind of depends on the situation. When we're treating for ants, we're going to be looking at the best long-term solution. It's not a quick fix, knock them down, they're gone. Because ant colonies are very fluid and they will move in and out of properties. And once this colony gets eliminated, another one's gonna move in because it was there for a reason. So you'll have multiple colonies of ants in any given yard at any given time. And they are constantly not battling, but they're still trying to fight over resources. And they will adjust their colony size and where they're living at specifically to gain those resources. Ants are always in flux, and once again, just because you treat for those ants right then, you get rid of those ants, doesn't mean you won't have more ants because they were there for a reason and some other colony is going to come and replace them.